Great battle tonight. Obviously, the way this one ended, it hurts. But we've never questioned the effort of our guys tonight. They put it all out there, and unfortunately, we didn't execute as well as we needed to in the second half. Obviously, the second overtime as well. You know, that's the difference in the game. And I give Michigan State credit. They came out and made plays. You know, their receivers played extremely well, and they created a turnover when they needed it in that second overtime.
There's microphones on each side. If you can just flag one down. Zach here.
Jim, what do you say to Ricardo Hall after a couple of different plays there at the end?
I think number one, just how much confidence we have in him. He knows he can play better. He has played better. We got a lot of confidence in his ability, and you have to remain confident at that position. You know, if that starts to slide, then you're gonna have problems. So we support him. He's played some great football for us. He's gonna grow through this one for sure.
Jeff.
Jim, you mentioned not questioning the effort, the execution at certain times on both offense and defense, and we're close to the standard that you expect of this team.
Not what you need to win, especially close games, right? You can get away with that at times, but the closer the game, those little things change everything. And you started out the second half kind of on our heels, got behind the sticks multiple drives, and then defensively, too many coverage busts to create big plays for the offense. And just continue to move the ball or flip field position at times. We have to play better in the second half to close out close games, there's no question.
Jim, obviously every week is a new experience for you in this role, but how do you anticipate handling a game like this with the team in your role as the head coach now? What do you say to them, and how do you get them to bounce back in a season that kind of hasn't gone the way that this team had hoped?
Number one's always the emotions. You know, how do you get guys to put the emotions aside to learn the lessons, right? You have one opportunity to respond, right? And that's within a game, right? During the game while the clock's running, you can respond, and then once the game's over, day after, you have to learn. You have to learn the lessons on what it takes to win in big moments, what it takes to win in clutch situations, and that's what we have to do, right? We got to handle the emotions right now. We did not respond well enough within that game. Right? And now we have to learn the lessons in order to ensure that that doesn't happen again this season.
Jeff.
Jim, if I remember correctly, it was tied, and you guys were going to go for it on fourth down, but then there was a penalty and you punted. Would you that punt? Did you feel good about how you guys executed that, and then putting it in the hands of your defense at that point?
That was the one that we punted inside the 5?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it's right on that fringe area of a little uncomfortable to punt, right? Not quite in field goal range that we deemed today, you know, what that number was going to be. So it was going to be aggressive and go for it, and then obviously we get the penalty and knock it back, and thought it was correct to put it in our defense's hands, and we executed the punt inside of the 5, and you know, we gave up a first down. They made a play on third down, and then got aggressive on us, and we busted a coverage. And you have to find a way to get that on the ground. I think Torch had an opportunity to tackle it, and he tried to strip the ball. Have to get it on the ground and save some field position there, and hopefully calm everyone down.
Jim, over here.
Michigan State's pass defense numbers were pretty poor coming in this game. Are you a little surprised you didn't have a little more success through the air against them today?
I mean, every week it's what's best for our team to win, and as much as their pass coverage has struggled, their front is really good. So you got to keep them off balance. You have to slow them down up front. You can't let them pin their ears back and get after Graham. So we felt like it was the correct plan offensively to still work through the run game. I thought we executed in the pass game, especially late. Right, Graham did a great job late in the game. Some big plays in the pass game to get some touchdowns. So I think it was the right plan, and we have to execute a little bit better. It always gets tough. And I mentioned early in the third quarter, behind the sticks, multiple series where it's just hard to get into a rhythm when you're constantly playing behind.
Jim, your defense is pretty banged up. You got a number of guys who weren't available that have started games this season. How much did that change things for you defensively? Did you feel like that was more of a challenge in a game like this?
Yeah, it's always a challenge, and the biggest thing is you're getting guys into much bigger roles. In some cases, forced into getting more snaps than you probably would prefer, and at this point in their career. But next man up, you have to do what you have to do to have success, and trying to give these guys a game plan that we can execute with who we have. and thought we started out doing that. They had some success in the run game, schemed some things up, and we settled down. We handled the first half, and second half the receivers got hot and made some plays. And we have to execute better in the coverage. We had a few busts that didn't hurt us, and then we had some that did. So we have to execute significantly better in the second half and overtime in order to win tight games.
Cole?
Jim, you mentioned their front. What was some of the issues that they were presenting that Graham wasn't able to kind of get his rhythm and stay comfortable in the pocket in the second half?
Number one, talent. Number one, they have a talented group that loves to rush the passer. I thought their plan did a really good job showing consistent looks to Graham and our front and running multiple things out of him. So forcing a lot of communication with the offensive line and forcing Graham to read everything post-snap when they got us in predictable pass situations on third down. Anytime you can do that, you're gonna cause some hesitation, and you're gonna force the quarterback to read things with the ball in his hand, which he handled for the most of the day. But that definitely presents challenges for both the O-line and the quarterback.
Robert?
Jim, there's a number of guys throughout the lineup that are playing a significant role for the first time in their careers. Do you feel like that played a role in terms of responding to adversity? And is that just part of the learning process for them?
Yeah, you wish you had experience all across the board, but that's not the reality of college football all the time, especially when injuries hit. So guys have to step up. I thought the preparation was great. You know, we had a lot of confidence in guys going into the game, and you know, we always critique. We're hard on our players and how we critique them and how they can get better. And you know, we have to learn when moments get big, right? That's when the execution has to be our best, and obviously that wasn't the case.
Jim?
Jim's been an unusual season, obviously, that's probably an understatement, but we're 7 games in now. Do you feel like this team has an identity? And if so, what is it at this point?
That's been a struggle, and that's why we are where we are. Offensively, inconsistent, right? Running, throwing the ball. We've done some great things at times, but not consistently enough. And defensively, I think it's been very similar. When we've needed to show up big, we haven't gotten it done, and we have to find ways as coaches to help them out, and players, when their number's called, they have to execute. So I would say it's still up in the air on what the true identity of this team is, and that's why we haven't had the success that we all anticipated.
Got time for one more?
Jim, it felt like tackling and some untimely turnovers, like some of the same issues run off the team. Is it too late to kind of fix those issues, or is that concerning at all?
I hope it's not too late. I mean, if it's too late, we're in trouble, right? Because we got a lot of football left. So, I mean, we'll emphasize it, right? There's no question. Turnovers, offensively and defensively, we didn't create any. I don't think, right? I don't think we created a turnover on defense, and huge difference in the game when you're losing the turnover battle. And tackling is always a premium. When you play great players, talented athletes out in space, you have to do a great job of getting them on the ground, and we didn't do that, right? Even if it was small games, right? Just changing the sticks, staying ahead of the sticks instead of 3rd and 7, it's 3rd and 5, things like that. Keeping drives alive. Always have to tackle well out in space, and we didn't get that done, and we didn't force a turnover, which is going to make things very difficult.